So sometimes aren't you tired of trying? Because it's okay. Um, Especially, for people like, astrologically speaking, Libra. Um, there's a lot of resentment that comes out and it comes through, and because we just want peace. We want peace, and we want everybody to just get along. But we eventually learn through experience, through time, that that's not the case, and it actually hurts. It hurts because it's like, well, for me at least, it's like a Pluto Sun conjunct, and it's like Libra, and it's all this whole. I just want things to be perfectly, you know, lovey kind of thing. But I've come to realize it's like that's not the case. So I've built up a lot of resentment, to be honest, you know, and you want things to be not only real for yourself but for others. You want people to be real with you. But a lot of times we project that onto others and we say that you should be fucking real with me. You should tell me. But it starts from within, right? It's from my experience, it's not just within, but it's more like the difference between projection and compassion. What I mean by projection, and this probably for some of you already known this, that it's like projection is something where it's like, you did this, you're the fucking idiot, you're the da 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 and all that stuff, right? We do this with point fingers, and we basically say, but instead of pointing, I've come to realize that it's like what we really want, or at least what I really want, is that where that peace comes from, where that desire for peace and harmony comes from, is it's more about what I do to others is basically what I do to myself. Growing up Catholic, it's like, what's that thing they say? The whole like, what you do unto my neighbor, you do unto me. It's basically the same thing. And for me, what that really means is, if you get mad at, if you point your fingers at someone, if you say call them an idiot, you're calling yourself an idiot as well. And what that means really is not because you're the idiot, but because it's like, it's not just the projection itself, it's not just the shadow work itself, but it's more like, I was doing my cold shower and I realized this, and it's just this whole, the peace that I want with our relationship is more of like just the peace that I want, period. But to come to terms with that, coming to terms is really the peace. Realizing that you're not going to get along with everybody. You're not going to have what people want. Everybody's unique in their own way. And it's something else. I can't really put it in words right now because it's like, to be honest, there's a lot of like recording, and sometimes I get like in here and it'll come to me somehow, but I feel like it has a lot to do with when you're projecting, or this whole thing about compassion really is that it's not really what we want from others. It's not that we want them to be honest with us. It's not that we want them to be in complete harmony with us, that we just get along, that they accept us. Really, for me, it's more about that. But it's more about, do I accept myself? Meaning, do I accept this journey that I'm in? Do I say like, suck it up, buttercup kind of thing? Or it's more just like coming to real peace with that, coming to real terms with the whole, well, everybody's just not only just different, but everybody's in their own path. The scene from Buffy, I remember this one episode, it's like the reason people are not concerned about you and because they're too busy being concerned about themselves. Right? Everybody's dealing with their own baggage and their own like thing. And this is one of the things that I find that I still sometimes go through once in a while. Like today was one of them, where my parents, it's a parent thing. It's really a family thing. And I was reading this book on synastry with Stephen Forrest, the Skymate. He talks about how when it comes to relationships, it really just starts with the fourth house. It makes sense because it's relationships, right? It's your core. The fourth house is your core. What that really means is this is really the reason why we have problems with relationships with others, whether it's romantic or friendships or whatever. It's that thing. It starts from like the family thing. So if we didn't have whatever we grew up with, the core that we built, that foundation we built, which is the fourth house, it carries on through relationships. So unless we work through that, we're not going to have real healthy relationships. But remember, the goal is not about relationships. One of the things that's the hardest things about being Libra is, Sun Libra, typical, of course, is in order for us not to build up resentment, because it's not healthy, is to really just let go. Let everybody go. Focus on what you want. Focus on what you want. When you see what you want is more like what your whole being self want, not just the ego. The ego is part of that as well, because from my experience, you can't get rid of the ego. You just can't. The ego wants what it wants. It's survival, it's needs, it's basic stuff, it's desire, it's all those things. It ties in with the whole what we want, especially if you have Libra, you have that energy, you have that desire to want to connect, you want relationships, you want love is love is love is love, right? This whole sort of thing, this whole, right? And it's, we need to move past that, because it carries on over from Virgo. It wants perfection, it wants to be, but besides all that, the point is that when we want something, we're looking for relationships. We can't find relationships because, first of all, we need to work on ourselves. If you look at, astrologically speaking, if you look at the whole the first house and the seventh house, it's all about shadow. So when we don't work on ourselves, the first, your identity, who you are, going through the seventh, going through that transition, in other words, when we start to meet someone, when we encounter someone new, or we meet someone, or our friends and all those things, we have a certain expectation. It's almost like we're denying ourselves that first house things in ourselves. We're denying ourselves by being in that relationship. It's like, you are going to be me. Rather than saying, well, no, it's you and I, separate but coming together and sharing. But what usually happens is that, from my experience, it's always been like, no, I'm just going to forget about myself. Fuck it. I'm just going to be like, I'm going to do what you want. So resentment builds up because we start to deny and suppress that inner self, that identity, that whole, that a healthy ego, a healthy identity. We suppress that, and we start to forget that it's like, oh, wait a shit second. I didn't work on myself. I haven't been working on myself. I haven't been honoring that self, that healthy ego, that potential to just shine first. And then we can then help others. Right? We can help others. We can shine with others. We can share our stories with others. We can have a relationship. It's healthy. It's not a 2-in-1 thing. It's a 1-in-1 sharing sort of thing. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. You can't merge with something unless one is whole. You can't have a piece like the battery or a magnet or something if there's no magnet in the first place. You can't have negative with the positive if you don't have the negative in the first place. The formation of the negative or the positive ions or negative ions, whatever it is, you can't have 2 and 2, 1 together. You see what I mean? You can't do this if there's no this and there's no this in the first place. You can't, whatever it is. The point is, you can't have one or the other not existing. In other words, full coming to realization of the realization, the form, the whatever it is. Even in the 3D perspective of things, even if it's all egoic, even if you can't have this with this without having this first and then this first. You can't. That doesn't make sense. In all the laws of whatever the fuck it is in the universe, it doesn't make sense. Okay, you have to have this. So we need to build up first ourselves. So this is what I've been experiencing, and it's just like, I'm just like, what am I doing? What am I, it's like, today was supposed to be, I see, that's the thing, that's expectation. It's like, oh, I wanted to celebrate my dad's birthday, but apparently they had their own schedule thing. And I was hoping to, but I didn't communicate that. That's the thing. See, I didn't honor myself in expressing what I wanted to. Because I initiated this before, and I said, are we going to do anything for Dad's birthday? Are we going to plan anything? And the reason I did that is because for me, because they always, sometimes they call last minute. It's like, oh, are you coming? Da, da, da. I was like, what do you mean? You never told me. That's the thing. Again, it's projection. It's projection. It's like, instead of being honest with what I wanted, meaning like I wanted, time, time in advance. I want to be there to help. I want to be there to be part of the family. I mean, there's other things too, but I mean, that's sort of the basic things. But I didn't express that. I just kind of projected onto them and said, are you planning something? I'm doing this. Are you planning something? Are you saying that for me? So it's kind of like you first and then me last. Or me, it doesn't make sense. That's not the progression of reality. That's not how it works. At least in 3D, it doesn't work that way. See, do you see what I mean? I hope that makes sense. By being honest with myself, I could have said, well, okay, so I know that you tend to do things last minute, and then, so I wanted to make sure that I'm actually available, and so that we're working together, and that's being honest with really what I wanted to, instead of saying, oh, well, I'm calling because I'm using that using that as an excuse to go, I'm calling because if I don't call now, you're just going to call last minute, and it happened anyway. So they had their plans, and they had this thing, and then or supposed to meet today, but it's like, no, it's not happening because they have a schedule, and my sister was supposed to be picking me up tonight, but I was like, well, that's too short a time, and I thought, okay, that's on me. Most of it is on me, because I was like, I did not specify that I wanted to spend time. I wanted to be a better, like more quality time, a whole day thing. I wanted to be, despite them not accepting me and all that stuff, forget that. I've already gone past that, most of it. But the point is that this whole scheduling thing, at least schedule-wise. So, I wasn't honest with it, right? So, again, that's the whole thing, right? Going back to it, the whole, when we project onto others, when we rely on the relationship to build who we are, to dictate what we want, that's not healthy, because that's not how it is. It's almost like my survival depends on you. That's a delusion. That doesn't make sense. It's like the consciousness itself, the universe itself, brought itself in this form to build its fucking self into this experience. And if we're not fully integrated into that, if we're not fully accepting it, then we just get lost. We get lost in everything else. It's almost like it's outside in. The same thing what we do with anything, any tools, any device. That's still separated. That's also ties in with this whole thing, with this whole projection thing, with this whole first seventh house thing. We rely on external things to fulfill us. Food, sex, material, money, all those things. It's just like, instead of building from the inside out. Right, so I hope that makes sense. I just wanted to kind of talk about it in that regard, because it was just like, it was something I had to go through. I was meditating on it. I was sitting on it. I was sitting with it. Literally, it was just like letting the emotions come through as I was playing. I'm actually going to show you the video after this one. I hope this helps. It's like an emotional release video. Short video, simple. Whatever you want to do with it. You can meditate with it. You can sit with it. Whatever it is. But this is what I wanted to just express. But I also wanted to add some reading today, because I thought, okay. Let's see what the cards are going to show us today. Okay. Okay, so my intention is to see what it has for us in general, in terms of projection. Okay, I feel like that one's come up. Okay, that didn't go through, that's fine. pulling until I get. Okay, that one wants to come on. No. No. Okay. I'm going to do 4 today. Lucky number 4. For those who believe in 4 as an unlucky number, I don't. Okay. Oh, more cards want to come out. Okay, we'll go with 5 cards today. Six of Cups. Upside down, 10 of Cups. Okay, 10 of Cups, but it was upside down. Knight of Swords. Hanged Man. Okay. And upside down, 7 of Cups. Lots of cups today. Okay. So I feel like this one's something to do with, again, I remember something about relationship, like giving too much or something, and I don't know, kind of losing yourself in the process. I don't know, it ties in with what we're doing right now. 10 of Cups means celebrating wealth and completion and diversity. I feel like that's what it's showing me. It's almost like it's a feeling of success, a feeling of like realization. Upside down probably means that I'm still working on it, or at least some of us are still working on it. Knight of Swords of being straightforward, head on, and being risk-takey. Hangman is kind of feeling stuck. This one is feeling like stuck. I feel like there's something to do with it. But at the same time, learning from the process of being stuck, that means that there's something that needs work. 7 of Cups. Snake in a cup. Adhering to hidden visions, hidden gifts. And really, see, the self doesn't know what to do with these gifts. I feel like there's so many gifts that are coming through, like the snake is probably wisdom, the castle is riches, there's gold, there's like jewelry here, there's achievements, there's your dark side, meaning like confidence, meaning know what you want, or possession, and also identity of self. But hidden, there's a hidden potential for a gift of, I would say, like, that thing, knowing, spirituality, connection, those kind of things. I think if you sense what I'm trying to say, like, I think you get what I'm saying. It's like it's hidden. It's like it's shining, but it doesn't want to shine bright yet. It's hidden. It's cloaked, and that's why this person is dark. And it's like, oh, I don't know what to do with these. So it's unknown, and he sees. I feel like people are in the dark, or you might be in the dark. So we'll see what that goes. Five of Cups again. I'm not doing a specific spread today because I just thought, sure, go with this one. So 5 of Cups, feeling deprived of love. Okay, having something taken away from you, feeling sad and grieving, regrets over lost opportunities, changed opportunities, acceptance of what is, emotional resistance to change, wishing you could change the past, emotional imbalance. Yep, that's more of my thing. I think if you're feeling that, great, it's good to go through those things to process it. And that's why I made the video after. 10 of Cups. Feeling at one with the world, seeing the light, emotional fulfillment, completion of cycle, sexual commitment, love's ideals attainable, restoring the status quo. For many of you, you're probably feeling that you're probably connecting more with your family or whoever your family is, biological family, blood family, French family, whatever it is. Did I say French? Friendship family. But you know, it's that kind of stuff. And a Knight of Swords. Okay, so now analyze situation, cuts off from feeling. Okay. So it still analyzes, yeah. For some of you, maybe you're analyzing your emotions a little too much. I'm still doing it sometimes, and it's okay. It's okay because it means that you kind of, you need to kind of deal with it. You need to process inwards, and you need to process things through. If you have to even isolate, that's totally okay. That's totally understandable. Eventually, you're going to come out of that, right? Because you're going to get sick and tired of being like, fuck it, I don't want to play the victim anymore. At least that's what it was for me last year. I was like, mm-mm. And it's still a process. There's still those times where you still play the victim, and that's the process. It's an up and down cycle thing. As being for most of us, you know, it takes a while to get up there, and that's totally okay. Hangman, I believe that's the one that's like when you get stuck. Sacrifice may be necessary. Bored with life, anticipation of progress, static relationships, seeing life from a different angle. Changing priorities, relinquishing control, taking a step back to move forward. So it's really like pulling back and then kind of processing it, and then seeing where it's like, well, what is it? What the fuck is it that I want? Right? Like really wanting, going really deep within. And then 10 of Cups. I'm sorry. 7 of Cups. Feeling disorganized, fantasizing about what you can achieve, high expectations, lazy attitude to life, putting off the inevitable, believing you can get away with anything, having your cake and eating it too, illusions about love, an array of options open to you. Yeah. That does kind of, some of it applies to me. I've been kind of like putting off a lot of things. And that's totally okay, because it means that you just have to process. You have to kind of wonder where things are, because you're looking at everything that you have, and all of a sudden, I don't know what to do with this one, this one, this one, this one. That's totally fine. Ties in with like being a Libra, you know, because it's like you just want this, and it's sometimes it's okay to go through those things, but it's also good to wonder, you know, veer off from that and say like, I need to focus a little bit more, and that's okay. It's a lesson. That's the whole thing about life, right? It's always about a lesson. So I hope this all helps, because I wanted to show you the video of what I was going through. You'll see it. You'll sense it when I was playing in the music, that I was like, ugh. Some of it was stuck, some of it was full on, and that's part of life, you know. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you later. I'll see you after the video, whenever that is. Thank you for listening. Bye. you.